Hello, Cherie Hanson here. It is after 6 at night, pitch black outside. It was a day of cold, but relief because it wasn't that cold. And as I was walking around, going through my appointments and going in and out of stores and malls and walkways, I was thinking about an experience that I had when I was teaching that taught me a great deal about the concept of reality. We had a staff member in our school that was given the task of finding new lighting for the staff room. And I went in on a Monday morning, opened the door, and there is an eerie, aquarium, otherworldly-like feeling. I felt like I should be able to swim. It was just so different. And it threw me back against the door. I shut the door and just stood there and looked around the room. And what I was forced to do was ask the question, why do I feel so different? What's changed here? What happened to this environment that has been consistently dim with a certain wavelength of light coming down? And I was curious as I watched the other staff members come in because they were all experiencing the same challenge to their sense of perception. And it shocked us. It disrupted us. It sent us into another place. And everybody was trying to pour their coffee in this strange light. And then they were sitting there and they're going like, this just really feels weird in here. And finally, somebody went out to find out what had gone on. And the person who had been asked to change out the fluorescent lights had gotten grow lights. So the spectrum of the lighting was totally different than anything we had experienced before. It didn't just change the setting. It changed our relationship with that space. And we were stunned. People were thrown back. They were left without a conclusion. Hey, have you ever been there? Something happens and your bossy pants, anticipation, normal narrative is just blown up. It's gone. And you're thrown back on the idea of, I don't know what the hell is happening here. That happened with COVID. It happens more and more as we see different cultures, different governments, failures of systems. And so what we're left with is the sense that we can't gauge it. We can't measure it. Our tools are like, oh, I have centimeters, millimeters, or inches. No, I'm sorry. We use quacklunks. How many quacklunks is it? I don't know what you're saying. So in those moments when you get thrown back on your normalized paradigm of what reality is, you can be really shocked. You can feel bereft. You can feel grief. Like, I want everything to be the same so I can assess it. I have a caliper. I want it to fit in my caliper. And I was also thinking today this week I've been going through different environments, visiting people in their homes or, walking in the neighborhood. And I was thinking about how, like it is to be in a different village when you go into someone's house. They have a culture there. That house has a culture, and what the house holds is the culture, the paradigm of the family, of the things that grandmother had in her kitchen, of the things that our tribe does. Do we have matching salt and pepper shakers everywhere? Or is everything Zen? Do we have what the inside of our house looks like be like they cut out some kind of stark, sterile magazine picture of what a house should look like? And that's what the culture is behind that door. It's so good for us to understand that all of these ways of doing things, all of these habits, all of these normalized activities come down through our grandparents, our great-grandparents. They also catch us like a virus from our cohort. This is what you do when you're 30. You ski, you go up the ski hill, you get on a snowboard. And that's what we do. And my way of looking at the world, which is non-athletic, other than to be trained to dance, is why would you do that? This is not a culture, I understand. But the place of real growth is to be thrown back, to be in a place where you're disrupted from what you think should happen, what the normal is, what the wavelength of the light should be in your house. And then you have a tendency to either judge it, fear it, react to it, be frightened of it, make it wrong, or you can step back and go, oh, that's interesting that I have these perceptions that were framed and handed off to me and inherited by me from what went before. And I remember specifically when my husband and I in grad school were invited over. I helped a couple that were, she was working on her master's and was having trouble with language. So I helped her. I went through and explained what problems she was having. So they invited us over to dinner to have cinnamon spaghetti. I thought I would never hear the end of it. My husband was like, what the hell is cinnamon spaghetti? You know, as he went over to their house, his face was all, it looked like a wadded up fist like this, you know, just like, and they were saying, doesn't that cinnamon really taste good in there? And he's like, no. But I was eyeing him. I had the wife eyes. Don't you dare criticize them. And so when we hit, our paradigm is like a bumper car hitting somebody else's paradigm. We can react very sharply. We can find it threatening. We can even, as in my husband's case, react with anger. Like, why would you serve me cinnamon spaghetti? It's just so wrong. So as I watch myself as I move through the world, as I watch myself as I move in and out of people's houses, I'm more and more aware of the fact that I am expanding my ability to see people who have different tribal rituals. They like hot sauce on their hot dogs, or they eat sauerkraut and sardines. I'm really not as reactive as I used to be because when I was younger, I didn't know any better. I just assumed if somebody wasn't doing what I was doing, they were wrong. And I must say, I am very grateful for being at this time in my life where I can look at the fact that people have different ways of interpreting reality and building a structure of reality around them, building a structure of what kind of lights we use, what is lit, what isn't lit. And that is their universe. That's their universe. And they live in that because it serves their concept of what reality is. So it's kind of fun watching my reactions, you know, when I'm tempted to just do the what the hell response in my mind, I'm just going, oh man, look at you. You really, really want to be rigid and judgmental, don't you? And how does that make you feel? Do you like that? And I go, no, I don't. I don't like it. I don't like the way it makes me feel. So this is something that I wanted to talk about today. Talk about when our paradigm, our sense of normal becomes challenged. It gives us an opportunity to see what we're made of. And it's all about growth. It's all about growth. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing to my YouTube videos. If you know somebody you think will benefit from them, you know, you have somebody you know who's very rigid because you let your dog get on your bed. It could be a subtle way of asking them to back off. You know, shh, don't tell them that's why you're doing it. I'm also doing life coaching for people all over the world, and I am doing psychic readings. My channel works beautifully with people who are coming across a new upgrade program. You know, it's all about upgrading. We're going to give you a certificate in being a kinder human being, and you're going to hate it, but here we go. So I can work with you on drawing up a contract between yourself and yourself to make yourself more comfortable in a world of shifting realities and change. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you.